right. Welcome to another edition of West Coast Boxing Talk with your host Tim Crowley and Coach Cy. We're here for another installment, and today we wanted to talk a little bit about some of Saitel's early career, specifically on the weight cutting aspect of boxing. I know you had some things you wanted to open up with, but that's one of the most important parts of the boxing game as you get into competition, is being able to find the weight that's the best weight for you to be boxing at, and a healthy one. And the weight cut is something that boxers do, wrestlers do it, and it's a part of the game, and there's different ways to do it. Some are more healthy than others, and there's been many incidents of guys who cut too much weight and are not able to perform because the weight cut is too much and it drains them. You have guys that have really perfected a weight cut program where they can cut up to 15-20 pounds in a 24-hour period and rehydrate, and we've seen some mismatches with boxers who are basically outsized because they can't cut the same amount of weight. But what was your experience cutting weight? Because when you first were boxing in the amateurs, it was like 118 pounds.
Actually, when I started boxing, it was 132.
Okay.
I started at 132, went down to 125, and by accident, I actually made 119 at a tournament. And we just felt like, okay, if we can stay here, we'll stay at 119.
And how did you come to feel that was like your natural weight? For boxing, was it something like looking at the height of some of the guys at higher weight classes, or did it feel, were you having to start to do weight cut regimens pretty early on?
I never had a boxing situation where weight wasn't a problem. Because of my build, I'm short, top heavy, small legs, so I always had a problem with weight. That was from the beginning. I don't know what it's like not making weight. Matter of fact, actually one of my easiest tournaments, we got to the Nationals, and I was trying to make weight the night before, and it was an invitational, so there was no real stress that you had to make a certain weight because you can enter at the tournament, whatever. The night before, I just got tired, and I was like, I'm just going to fight at 125. And I actually got the silver medal in that tournament.
How old were you?
I was 20, exactly. 2003.
Yeah. And what were some of your methods for making weight?
Oh, that was horrible. That was a part of the problem. I started boxing late, so I really didn't understand the weight aspect of boxing. It was just, we fighting. That came along later with the coach and them understanding boxing. Yeah. What was the question again?
What were some of the ways that you would make weight?
Not eating. Seriously. Not eating, taking in small liquid. Rather than drinking water or fluids, you eat ice to help pass the day.
And then was there anything like during the night before or the morning of the weigh-in that you did specific, like a weight suit or?
Yeah, I lived in one of them throughout training, and that was terrible. It was horrible as far as making weight, and I think that was what kind of also drained the desire to fight. It became more work than actually a good time.
Was there, because it's hard to keep nutrition, because that's the balance, is to try to keep some nutrition, to keep some energy levels up, and then but still limiting what goes in so that it doesn't put weight on.
I didn't know anything about nutrition and any of that. I knew later on we added on protein because I wasn't eating as I should, and we got away with a lot of bad habits.
Yeah, nutrition. Yeah, that's like an important thing. I know Chris Algieri is one guy that like talks a lot about that, but the different types of small foods you could try to eat while you're going through a weight cut regimen. And yeah.
And UFC fighters, they seem like they're good with dropping 10, 15 pounds the night before a fight just to make weight.
Yeah.
I could never do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's done.
Yeah.
And still be able to perform.
Yeah. I remember Chuck had some like old tricks and stuff. One of them was about chewing gum and spitting.
Yes. He had that the night before a fight because it creates fluid.
And don't swallow. Because that was part of the important part. He said, so that was the night before. And so he said, because I don't remember what the maybe small wheel, but it was a way to keep your mind from feeling hungry and just take a walk. He said, just take a walk, chew bubble gum and spit. He said, don't swallow it.
See, that's a part of the problem. And it's not that, it's just the reality of it is people make weight because they want to have an advantage. People fight in weight classes that if I knew then what I know now, I would have never even fought at 119.
Yeah.
Because even in the gyms, your skills will show. And the skills and I should have been able to do just fine at 125.
Yeah, I think some people underestimate the importance I think that height could play in boxing. And so I know that was one thing that when I first got to the gym, I was doing a lot of weightlifting, and I probably weighed around 160 or so pounds, 165. And that was because like when I was a kid, I said I wanted to be like the heavyweight champion of the world, and I was going to grow into it.
Right.
But then you start to hit your limit. You start to hit.
That's my body weight right
You
there.
just understand what your body is meant for. And when I got into the gym at 160, 165, and I started realizing like who fights at 165, it's guys that are like 180 that cut down, and they're like 6'2". They're like, it's a taller type person. And then I realized that I didn't even lose, I don't think, that much strength, but just started squeaking down to 148,
but
47. Yeah. And then because the more you do like a boxing workout, it's a lot of cardio and it's a lot of like endurance. So when I fought, I actually weighed, it was 135. And I remember maybe having a light meal the night before, but that whole week was like just limiting like to only like salads and carrots and like lean chicken, just super lean.
I think that fighters should probably fight no less than maybe 5 pounds out of their walking weight.
Yeah.
5 pounds. I think if you doing like you said, Bernard Hopkins, he's a perfect example. It didn't matter how big a guy was at 160, his body was able to perform where he could fight a light heavy. You seen when he moved up to light heavyweight, it looked like he was still at 160.
Yep.
He just maximized his body for 160 pounds. It don't matter if you were able to make 160. Whether you was coming down, going up, he was able to deal with it because he just maximized his body at his weight. Mm-hmm. And he stayed at that weight for, I don't even think he had to move up. He just did it because there was nobody else at 160. And he had the opportunity to fight Tarver. And he's just a perfect example. He wasn't that tall for his weight class. Holyfield, another example. Mm-hmm. I reserve some things. But as a small guy, he dealt with a lot. And yeah, so I think that we put too much into making weight and trying to have an advantage when I actually think to walk around and maximize off your natural weight is the best way to go because it has longevity and your body will get used to being at a certain weight rather than going up and down. That's not consistent. So I don't think your body will respond.
Yeah. I wish in some dreamland that the fighters could just be weighed like right before the fight and just would be on point. Just be the same weight
people to be in, exactly.
Right before and just make it a big penalty if you can't hit. I don't know.
Back in the day, they used to weigh in the day of the fight.
Back in the day?
Yes. Back in the like 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
Up until Ali. Pretty much that generation. They would weigh in the day of the fights.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. They've never in my lifetime done that.
They're making it easy.
For the production, just to make sure. Money. Yeah. Because then
for the money.
That way, if there's some time to get a guy to lose weight or if there's some extra time to get a replacement in, I guess.
Boxing is a dirty game. On every level. And again, if everybody was under the same rules, then it will force the competition to be better and to be successful. It'll force you to put yourself in the best position to win on that particular day if you have to make weight.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's it as far as with weight. And see, a part of that making weight, it affects you outside though. It actually can affect your personal life quicker than the natural problems that you come with boxing. As far as the brain, because making weight, you will lose a lot of fluid that supports and protect the brain. Like my injury I had, which we will speak on that in a couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely is a dangerous thing. And they talk about, a lot of the guys that get injured in the sport, a weight drain a lot of times comes before it.
Right.
Or if it's over time, if they have over time been draining their body and really going through hard weight drains. And it seems they seem to know who does, who goes through worse weight drains, especially as guys get older. It's harder and harder to do that.
Because you can't continue to work out as you did before.
Yeah.
Your body, as you age, your body, it won't respond the same. It get a little slower. You start moving slower. So even your training regimen you'll see guys, they stop running and to start doing more swimming. They'll start doing things to adjust to their body aging.
You put weight on in like different places and stuff, and it's a trip.
Yeah, like right now I'm dealing with epilepsy.
Yeah.
Which I've been dealing with for years, like more than 10 years now.
Yeah.
And that came from an injury I had outside of boxing, but just always walking around trying to stay close to a weight because I was on the USA. Okay, so I was on the USA team. At any point in time, you can have a duel where a guy that was supposed to fight didn't fight. And the thing about being on a team is you're expected to be at weight pretty much or no more than 5 pounds above, or you will get penalized. You show up to the training center more than 5 pounds over your weight, you will get penalized and you won't get the fight. And then some of the monthly check that you get, they'll start to dig in that too.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of things force you to try to make that weight. But making weight, like I said, I always had to stay close to my weight, even though walking around was probably 145.
Yeah.
Walking around. So I was draining, dehydrating, and I had an injury at the house. And the problem with the making weight was I didn't have enough liquid and fluids supporting the brain. When I had the injury, it was just like dealing with a car where it's metal against metal with no oil. Basically, that's what it was. Exactly. Yeah. So it didn't really affect me at that point. But later on, the doctor said, see what goes on. I made the decision against the doctor's advice to get back in the ring and start fighting. And went back to the same making weight.
Yeah.
Eventually, my brain just said, no, we're going to take another route. And since you don't want to do it the right way, okay, we're going to it's over.
Yeah.
So now I'm dealing with the repercussions of the other side of making weight. That's a part that people don't really understand. That damages you later on. It has a permanent damage because, again, you just overworking your body. You're going against everything that your body naturally do, basically. That's what. And then you're trying to work out at the same time. You're trying to lift weights at the same time. You're in training mode, so you're doing all this, and at the same time, you're dehydrating your body. And so all that is very taxing. Hydration. So I started having seizures, I think, 2000. Let me see. My dad passed away 2011, and I was after. So about 2013, I started having them, and the first medication kept giving me poison. So we had to go around trying to figure out what medication I could take that'll work. And then we started dealing with that, and then dealing with the epilepsy and just boxing naturally. You deal with anger problems later on. So I'm trying to deal with mood swing medication and then deal with the medication for the epilepsy, and it's very taxing. It's very hard sometimes, but that's the part of the game they don't talk about.
Yep, definitely tough game.
But yeah, it is what it is.
And so how's the medication been working so far?
We got a new medication that I don't know, it's like maybe when I started, I think they said they started making them maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was 2019. So once I started, and I was having them every 2 weeks. It was to the point where the ambulance and emergency team knew exactly who I was when they came to the house.
Wow.
They literally, like one time it was a guy, he was new. And my daughter basically was telling him exactly who I was and what to expect, and he likes to fight. So when he's gonna ask,
hands up.
yes, exactly like that, like getting in the stance, all that.
Yeah.
And so he showed him how to handle it. So we was going through that, and once they said we want to try something new, I stopped having them completely. So it was like 3 years that I didn't have one, and that's when they actually kicked me off disability. So I knew it was 3 years because it had been so long that I had an episode that they said, no, you gotta go to work.
And then so how's the management of it been like recently? So are you taking a medication like every day for it?
I take the medication twice a day, which I'll be taking pretty much for the rest of my life. So I take 4 pills in the morning, 4 pills at night, 2 different medications for the epilepsy and 1 for the nerve damage.
Okay. And
But you know what? I should have my daughter here actually, because she's the main one that deal with the problems when they occur. Actually, yeah. So she really have a down pack on what to do.
when was the last time you had a seizure?
I think that was sometime last year, maybe 8 months ago. And before then, it was like maybe a year.
Yeah.
They come around once every 2 years or so.
And how long do they last usually?
As far as
The seizure.
from what I've heard.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, it maybe 30 seconds, but it'll be like continuous until they get the medication. Generally, when the emergency team come and give them the medication, it stops.
And what's the so there's an emergency medication when you're having a seizure?
Yeah, or after.
And
or
what
sometimes
is it?
you don't stop. You'll have one and you'll stop.
Yeah, so
and
take
then
it.
You'll go through whatever,
So
and then you'll have another one, and then you come out of it. And so that's how I have them when I do. And once they get there and put the medication, I think more, I don't know, it could be a liquid form of Keppra or Lamotrigine. That's my main one.
And so it's a liquid they put in your mouth or something?
No, I think they give you the IV.
But when you're having a seizure, like at home?
Oh, it's generally, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know exactly. That's a good question. But usually when I come to, I assume because I'll be at the hospital and have all.
So when you have a seizure, is it usually you wake up like in the hospital or like in the house? Or?
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, until my daughter got it down packed, because most of the time I've always checked myself out. So it'd be more like, okay, why even waste the time? This call she got her pretty much down packed. Unfortunately, she's been having to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for you, do you even feel when they're coming on? Do you have any sort of like heads up or anything?
Headaches.
Yeah.
If you have a real bad migraine, stomach ache, that's generally when I know it's coming along. And hey, I'll tell you what, you get an exclusive. I've never talked to anyone about this, period. I've never, and it's mainly, I don't want to discourage people from the sport of boxing. No matter what I tell them or no matter what, naturally people are going, it was the boxing. So I don't want to put that on. So I generally keep it to myself.
Yeah.
But my daughter, she said she was gonna, I don't know, I think it's awareness
Yeah.
for people with epilepsy. And I said, no, that's not, don't use me. I don't want to be no kind of face of anything that can be problematic to the sport of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But she basically, I deal with it, so I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So once she said that, I was like, you know what? Let me get comfortable talking about it so me and Slim could go over that.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's epilepsy is something that a lot of people deal with that never boxed, and
Right.
just it's something that is something that people deal with, and it's a lot of people. And I think just being able to talk about how you deal with it and the measures you take and just how you live with it, pretty much.
And that's probably one of the reasons why she's doing what she do, because I don't really think about it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things that I get informed by watching YouTube to learn about certain things, but I've never ever been on YouTube to hear about seizure. I don't know, or to even study or get informed about it. I don't. It could be a situation where I don't want to know, or I don't care. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah.
I really don't think about it. That's why I don't talk about it, because it's like just another obstacle
Yeah.
that we gonna continue to have as you go along. I learned through a friend to basically embrace it. It's gonna be a part of who you are. Ain't no reason to fight it, basically.
Yeah. It's good you got a support system.
Yeah, it is. You know what? And I don't know what it's like not to have one. I've been blessed with that. I've been really blessed with that. And just blessed to be able to deal with it. I've heard things, and as far as people having on a daily 4, 5, 6 every day, and they learn how to deal with it. Certain things you don't want it to affect the way you move. And that's probably why I don't speak on it, because I'm just not a complainer. I don't want ever nobody to feel sorry or nothing like that. Hey, whatever it is. I've heard things. I heard people talk. Hey, if they feel it was the boxing, I would do it again.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Just understanding I would be fighting at whatever weight I walk around. I wouldn't even try to make weight 5 pounds under. Whatever weight I walk around, if that's the consistent weight I walk around at, that would be the weight I'm fighting. Because ultimately it didn't have nothing to do with the boxing. It just had something to do with the way I was dealing with boxing as a whole. Which weight is probably one of the biggest things about boxing.
Yeah.
I've seen guys make a weight and win a world title because another fighter tore their rotator cuff. But you made the weight and you was durable enough to be there and deal with the situation. So making weight is the base.
Yeah. And I remember you said a while ago, if you can make a little bit of a weight below you, it puts you a little bit of a frame size advantage, sometimes in a height advantage. And I remember you said a while back, you said if you have height, you could learn on the job. Speak.
Yeah, you can learn on it because you can keep a distance. Now I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
And I was fighting. I don't know too many fighters that's shorter than 5'4", where I could actually practice on keeping a distance.
Yeah.
So I was always coming forward.
Yeah.
Slipping, moving my head. Yeah, but at the same time, when you're not making weight, you can be faster, more elusive. And you can think better. You can think better.
Yeah. I always felt Mayweather really found where his natural weight was. And when he was fighting some of the bigger guys, what was it, Matisse or something like that? One of those, or Baldomir. Yeah. And I think the fight was at 154 or something, and Mayweather came in at 149 or 148, and it was just, or something.
No, it was 147 because Baldomir took the title from Zab Judah, which Zab had took the title from Spinks.
I'm gonna forgive me on the details, but whatever it was
enough,
like,
though.
It was like Mayweather, like he didn't even come in at the full, like on the heavy side. It was like he knew that, like he came in at like 152 or something, and it was like, And it was just like it was like his body was optimized. He was like,
Right.
this is probably the best. Like, I could probably handle a 170 pounder at this weight or something. Like, he didn't feel he needed to be any heavier.
When he fought Canelo, what did he weigh?
Probably same thing. Like, he didn't feel a need to bulk up. Like, he was strong and big, but he didn't overdo it.
Yeah.
It was like he just was like comfortable. Yeah.
And that's being comfortable. It makes you able to think more relaxed. You want to be relaxed, and you can think, and being not worrying about weight or just training and understanding that you've maximized and brought everything. You're gonna perform at your peak. You're gonna think you at your. If you see how confident he was when anytime he got in the ring, no matter what weight, it was like he was comfortable. I don't think he would ever get in the ring uncomfortable because he took his business that serious. And if you notice, when he moved up, it was always in a timely manner. He never jumped weight class and then within the next 6 months he let his body determine how and when he moved up.
Yeah. I always felt like Kell Brook moving up to fight GGG was like too big.
And
He
it
was like
damaged
he was a welterweight.
It damaged him.
Yeah.
It damaged him. I really think that had he not took that fight, and he probably would have had a better chance with Spence. I think he would have had. It would have been a toss up because he was just damaged in that fight. I remember. I think his eye socket was popped out in that fight with Canelo.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
And
it was downhill from that point.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like too big of a jump. It was like that was a welterweight going up to a middleweight, a full-fledged middleweight.
Yes.
And that's a tough jump. You don't see that too often.
And that also has something to do with the style of boxer you are.
Right.
If you're a fighter like Floyd,
yeah,
moving up in weight, it's easier for you because you don't engage in a lot of action anyway. So it's more.
Yeah.
It actually makes it easier for him because fighters are slower. He's quicker. He's probably quick thinking.
Yeah.
And his reflexes is probably much faster. We know that was a part of his career.
Yeah. Classic example is like Roy Jones going up to heavyweight to steal it from Ruiz. He didn't overpower him. He just was quicker and sharper and faster.
And after that, I think that bulking up in that weight when he tried to come back down
to light heavy,
it damaged him.
Because that's a big jump.
Yes, coming down after. See, he didn't put on fat to fight Ruiz.
No.
He put on muscle. So at that point in your career, putting on that kind of muscle and then going back down 20 pounds, taking muscle, he wasn't taking fat away. And that, I think that, not saying that Tarver not taking anything away from him, but his body's reaction, I think, took so much making weight that it didn't. And that's something I think he never, either two things. His body never recovered, or he just never had a chin and we didn't know about it.
Another thing with Roy was that if Roy at light heavyweight was often shorter than his opponent.
Excuse me
yeah,
second.
for sure.
Saitel! Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, if you look at Roy in his light heavyweight career, he was often shorter than the guy he was fighting. And it almost made you think that, like, Roy at his, like, actual body prime maybe was, like, 168. And that 175...
Exactly.
175 was him just like having to go there for the money. Like he needed to go there because that's where he probably he grew into it with his body, but like he was always shorter. He was shorter than a lot of the opponents at 175.
And his speed allowed him to get up. Now, exactly. That's a prime example. Once his body started to slow down, his reflexes wasn't the same. His speed kind of slowed down. He was still faster than everybody else, but he became more vulnerable to getting hit, and we see the result of that. Yeah. I think elusive fighters, you really can't tell until their bodies start to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, another prime example.
And Floyd, when he noticed that his body started to slow down, he slowed the pace of the fights down. When you can look at when he fought Corrales, how many punches and how quick and the combinations he was putting on, opposed to when he was fighting Baldomir.
Yeah.
He slowed down the pace, made
Mhm.
sure he wasn't getting hit with anything,
Yeah.
and he slowed the pace down.
Those were like business boxing, because he would do just enough to win, but
Exactly.
he never tried to get that guy out of there, and they would complain about that because they were like, why doesn't he just step on the gas? He's obviously toying with him, and it's like he knew he wasn't going to expose himself. Like you open yourself up a little bit if you try to do that.
They used to say the same thing about Deion Sanders with his tackling, and he say it's a bad business decision
To tackle with
to
all your
try
body
to,
or something,
yes,
right?
yeah, he's going
Oh
at your
yeah.
legs. His main thing was you're not catching the ball.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about Floyd and those fights, is that you would watch them and
Sightel. Excuse me again.
yeah. And yeah, another example of like weight getting the best of somebody was Chris Byrd, when he went up to heavyweight, and then when he tried to come back down to a cruiserweight and just looked
Oh, that was
raggedy.
a perfect. That's what I'm saying.
He looked so skinny.
The
and,
exact
like,
same of
yeah.
Roy Jones. But two
Yeah.
elusive fighters, fast for their weight class, and he had a decent chin when he was a heavyweight. He got hit with something I wasn't expecting.
They need to do like a special on Chris Byrd and just call it like the Dragon Slayer or the Giant Slayer or something, and just talk about his career and all the gigantic heavyweights that he fought. He's still around. I don't know if he doesn't like announce or anything, but
He just wasn't. He didn't at that time dealing with heavyweights. They don't really want to see skilled fighters. They want to see knockout punchers, and and he didn't even go in there with the when he fought in the amateurs. I think he was fighting at 165. He went up to heavyweight for the money.
yeah,
Starting
absolutely.
out at the pros, he said, and he was elusive enough, fast enough that he ended up being 2-time world champion and had title defense.
That was literally like his business. He was like, "Hi, I'm Chris Byrd. I'm the small heavyweight who frustrates all these big guys." And he got lots of fights because he would get caught. He got caught times, and so he was kind of like, I think he was viewed as a good opponent for a big heavyweight, because he might the worst he could do is embarrass you, and you probably just learn from it.
And it's a lot of people got beat thinking like that. Real.
He
I'm
slapped
serious.
around a Klitschko. He slapped around Klitschko for, was it like 11 rounds, or I don't know. I don't even remember that fight. It's
Vitaly.
like he slapped around one of them, and it was like that was when you could, when the Klitschkos were first getting American experience, they could get slapped around.
They didn't understand about boxing and how serious it was. I think one of them had a shoulder.
Quit. That was the Chris Byrd fight.
Yes,
maybe.
That was
That's right.
That was a Chris Byrd.
Yeah.
And I think in his mind, we'll have another chance to come back
Yeah.
and fight again. And he didn't understand at the time how serious that was. And I think that was the first title Chris Byrd won.
That's right, because he was on
came
the
back and won another title. So that just wasn't a one-time fluke. And he defended his title multiple times. And I remember him defending it once with David Tua. Smacked him around. He didn't hurt him, didn't try, but he just outboxed him for 12 rounds and defended his title. And that was another guy that was a strong puncher. They was expecting to eventually catch him and stop him. And even when he did touch him, Chris Byrd,
he could take a punch.
Something about going down in weight, taking that muscle down.
Yeah.
Your body reacts to it.
Because who beat him at the end at cruiserweight?
I don't know who it was.
Tarver or something? Or
no, it wasn't Tarver. It was somebody you haven't heard of since. Yes. You ain't heard of the person since, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he looked so muscular. His body looked like, but the chin didn't respond the same. And it could have been all of the damage that he did took a heavyweight, because he fought everybody.
You want to talk about making weight? Have you seen this guy? What's his name? Xander, and he's the guy who just fought Tim Tszyu. But he's welterweight at 6'2", 6'3".
Yes,
it's like an old Paul Williams comeback.
Now that's funny, because some people make the weight just fine, and they're tall
skinny
and slim.
That's their body style, though, probably.
And that's the point.
But I'll bet you.
And generally, guess what? When you see thin guys move up in weight, they don't really deal with the heavier weights that good.
He's always been able to deal with a 5-inch advantage. Like, I'm talking about Xander, like the
Yes.
tall guy.
Yes.
And Paul Williams too. It was like when you're always the taller guy, and then you start going up in weight, and you're not. That's a big difference to deal with.
And your body mass.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not as strong, even
Yeah.
though you're moving up in weight. Because Diego, he moved up in weight and ended up getting stopped.
Because you're not the big.
You're not the big
boy,
exactly. Your body frame doesn't really tell your size. It's like a fraud. It's pump faking.
It's crazy though that if you could gain leverage though just from the tallness, like that's like a Tommy Hearns.
They all generally have good right hands, right?
Yeah, this guy, he's thin. His arms are thin, and his body's thin. But because he's so long, and because he knows how to punch properly,
Right.
like he gets leverage, so he does damage.
And he generally catch you coming in.
These guys too, sometimes they're good inside fighters, like Paul Williams. They
Right.
they tuck everything
Yeah,
in.
he
Everything
was.
comes in from the elbows off the body, and I think this guy does that too. It's like they know how to tuck in.
And when Paul Williams moved up in weight, his chin didn't respond to the punches as they did.
Yeah, but he fought Sergio Martinez, who's a full-fledged middleweight, and
Right.
Martinez was like
And they fought 2 times. I think Paul won the first one.
Yeah,
and
but
he got
you know
stopped
what?
in the second fight.
there's another dude named Quintana, who he was Puerto Rican, I think, and he had a similar style to Sergio Sanchez. Or Sergio Martinez. And I've gotten them confused sometimes because I don't know how many. You said Sergio Martinez fought Paul Williams how many times? Twice?
Yes.
He knocked him out the first time or the second time?
They exchanged knockdowns in the first fight. He stopped him in the second fight.
Yeah, that was the one where he was moving. It's such a classic
Yes.
punch. It's like he's moving, and then I think it's a left hand. He
'cause
shoots
he
a
was a
left
southpaw.
hand. Yeah, he shoots a left hand while moving, and it clips Paul Williams and just good night.
And what fight did Paul have after that one?
See, because he went all the way up to middleweight. He was like a welterweight that went all the way up to middleweight. But I don't think he could hang much after that. He couldn't beat Sergio Martinez. Like, that was the champ probably at the time.
And that was before he moved up. That was a fight that Forrest Cap, they did not want any part of the Paul Williams. They did
awkward.
not want
No.
any part.
And
he
Paul
was awkward, tall, and he threw 100 punches around.
Yeah, and he fought Margarito.
Yeah,
I think he beat Margarito.
He did.
Yeah, he just
did.
kept him at
beat him
distance.
pretty easy. Yeah,
kept him
and
at distance. A lot of
Margarito
punches.
was used to being taller, stronger than most fighters, and then you have this guy Paul Williams. He was what,
Big.
6'1",
Yep.
6'2",
Yeah.
fighting at 147, and he just pretty much kept him on the outside and touched him with the hooks that he throw. He throw a lot of punches, and a lot of 147 pounders couldn't deal with that. And to add on to that, he took a good punch. So that's hard to deal
Great
with. You're dealing
boxer.
with somebody 6'1", 6'2", has a decent chin, and knows how to use his weight and his distance.
He got in that terrible accident, man.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But he's still, this is going to sound terrible. I'll have to edit this out. He's still alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he didn't let that stop him. He just had more time to do a lot more fishing.
I know. I follow him on Instagram, and I just haven't seen him. Yeah, he hasn't published anything in a couple years on Instagram, but love that guy. That guy,
he's doing well.
Yeah, he was amazing for the sport, and some of this looks like he was with the community and stuff. He could do so much. Great guy.
Yeah, he was, and he was an exciting fighter, and he did not duck any fighters. Whatever the people wanted to see, he was willing to give it to them. He was very honest in his opinion, very confident,
awesome,
and was always respectful to his opponents. Always respectful
just getting it
to
on
the sport. He represented the sport well.
Yeah, 100%. Miss him. Miss having somebody like him in the game.
Yeah, that's gonna give you what you want. That's something like, even though he lost a lot of fights, that's like the guy Arturo Gatti. I love Gatti. Because at any point in time during the fight, he can come back. But he always gave you what you wanted.
Gatti was Showtime.
Yes.
He was Showtime.
That's what he was.
Showtime. Fun to watch. Fun to listen to him.
Attitude was good towards his opponents.
Yeah.
He never had nothing bad to say about it. He never had anything bad to say about it.
I'm just thinking, You remind me, he was like a Jersey, like Fernando Vargas or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yes, there you go. Well, but nah. Fernando he had a California attitude. He
yeah,
was he was very confident, and it was
he was
confident
angry.
to enough. Yes, like
Angry.
he has, and that's another guy that wanted to fight any and everybody at any time.
But
I think it ultimately hurt him.
and he was a really good boxer. And like he would be angry and stuff, but then you watch him and he was calculated.
Yes,
And he was very patient.
yes,
And would time you. He would wait to time you and catch you with something real cold. Real good boxer.
very natural elusiveness too.
Defense.
And it was just
subtle
natural.
stuff.
Yes,
yeah, good
yes.
feet, good hands, blocking
Shoulder
shots.
rolls,
Yep.
head movement. He was some of those things you can't teach either. It's just natural reflexes and react. It's like you see things without seeing. Most people don't understand body movement, and you generally know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
You generally don't see the punching because you're moving too quick. So he was real good at not getting. I just think that he probably took the Trinidad fight too soon. But that was his anger in I'm telling you, something about West Coast fighters. It's like we feel like we got something to prove.
I hate to say this, but that was also too before Trinidad was his raps.
You don't
buy
know
that?
I believe the man rap. Listen,
There was a rap gate surrounding Trinidad.
That's when he got caught.
What I'm saying is that the fight with Fernando happened before
he was exposed. That don't mean he wasn't doing it.
Right, and there was a big left hand. It was a big left hooks that really
that kept hitting. It was the left hook that kept doing it.
And then you could see Vargas was just because like, he
Career
caught
was
him
never
early
the same.
with it. He caught him early with it, and then you could see Vargas was like, okay, this is how it's
He
gonna
had to
be.
focus real hard.
And then he gritted through the rest of it to get competitive and be in that fight, and then he got clipped with it again at the end
because he was going for it. Both of the knockdowns, he was exchanging left hooks with his right hand down. They were both going for left hooks, and his was a little slower, and he left himself open.
Yeah.
For the left hook.
Yep.
Because if you watch it and slow it down, they both slipped and threw the left. It was the same. It was the same combination they both did, and he just got. Trinidad won the fight. He looked good. I still hold something about once a cheater is always a cheater as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And he got caught.
That was Nazim.
And once he got Richardson. And once he got caught, he never looked the same.
Exactly, same with Margarito. And
yes.
Nazim got Margarito too.
Yes, both of them. Shout out to Coach Richardson. Matter of fact, shout out to his sons. They were decent amateur fighters. I think Rock and Tiger, yeah, they were decent amateurs. Not decent. They were good amateurs. I remember seeing them in the books when they were like 13, 14. They was expected to be the future of boxing. I remember that well. When I first came in, I was looking in a magazine and I seen them and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta fight one of them. And yeah, Richardson, he was a good coach. Very disciplined, very honest, and he wouldn't let you quit on yourself. I remember Shane, he had to talk Shane through a fight. When he told Shane, I'm not going to let you go out like that.
Do you remember which fight that was?
Yeah, Pacquiao. When Shane had hurt his leg.
Oh.
Shane hurt his leg in about the 5th round, 6th round. And he came and whispered something to Richardson, and he said, no, I'm not letting you go out like that.
That's cool.
And gritted the rest of the fight out.
They were a good team. Shane, he gave Floyd a good fight, and he had good fights in that part of his career.
Yeah, considering where he was at and what he had been through at that point in his career. Shane was a monster. He was a monster. I don't know. I can't prove it, but I had certain feelings when cheating came up in conversation with him as far as the steroids. And
he admitted to it.
Oh, he did?
He was working with Balco and stuff. I think he said that in his second fight with De La Hoya.
And that's
he
when
was on a program.
I guess because his body had looked a lot different and bulkier than usual. You could see. I thought it was just he was getting filled in with the weight class, and then all the rumors came out, and I didn't want to hear it probably, so I stayed away from it. But you saying he admitted it?
Yeah, he came out. It was Victor Conti and the whole Balco thing, and it was a type called the Cream or something like that. But no, it got swept under the radar. But yeah, like basically his second fight, like it was with De La Hoya, like it was proven that he was like on a program for that fight.
Wow. And again, you know what? It's still the same. I don't know how long he had been doing that. I know for many years. Is that what he could have been hollering out creatine? I know he was the number one promoter for creatine in boxing.
Yeah,
he was talking about creatine from when he was at lightweight.
Yeah, I think you get guys who become nutritionists and stuff, and they understand a lot of the science, and then when they start selling their services to boxers who might have big money, like they're stars of the sport basically, right. But they might not understand nutrition or be like really scrutinizing all the stuff that this guy's giving them or what they're doing. And
you see how important weight is in boxing?
Yeah.
We ended up right back where we started. All these things that fighters do to gain an advantage, and a lot of it has to do with weight. Mm-hmm. Moving up in a higher weight, so you want to gain muscle or you want to gain an advantage, so you start.
I'll tell you one guy who's probably clean is Tyson Fury.
Clearly, he don't need anything.
It's cool. And then you have somebody like Anthony Joshua, who's like the opposite. He almost looks like he would do roids. He does have that look. He's all muscle.
It wouldn't help him. It hasn't helped him because
the heavyweights and Klitschko's probably. I don't know.
You think so?
Yeah,
they have a thing where it's expected for them. I think Rocky really gave us a look at what we expect them to look like with the Drago
but they actually,
character.
They had two different body types actually, and it was the younger brother who was more of like a muscle-bound guy, and he was more elusive. The older guy had more of a natural body. Yeah, and more elusive. He was the more loose up top and would lean back.
And most people don't know this. I don't know. I think it was Valerie. Probably some of that elusiveness because he was a kickboxer.
Both of them, I think, were.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. But
I know.
That's probably why I didn't know that the younger brother was. I know I seen Vitaly, and I was like, oh, okay, he is. That's why he's so smooth on his feet. If you notice, to be a heavyweight, he was real smooth on his feet. He caught people stepping back with the right hand. Mm-hmm. That was all based on his feet placement and getting the maximum power off of. Yeah, he was very elusive. But he didn't have that makeup like you said of his brother where it was just all muscle. Joshua looks like he has a little too much muscle. He has a little. But then you look at a guy like Ike Ibeabuchi who looks even more pumped out. But then you look at how he fought. He fought fluid. His punches rolled. His body he was very good actually. He has I follow his page on YouTube.
Yeah,
body still look the same.
Yeah,
he still say he want to fight. He's trying to get a visa to the United States to fight. I think he said, I don't know if Tyson is doing the podcast anymore, but I know he was trying to do a podcast.
I'm trying to think if there's any other heavyweights. There's no new heavyweight that's making noise or doing anything.
The sport of boxing is at a low right now. It's especially heavyweights. I mean, we're getting a lot of more attention from the exhibition bouts. I hear more about the Jake Paul.
Oh yeah.
And the Tyson fight. Then you hear about what's going on with boxing. That's the state boxing is in right now.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Ryan Garcia fight coming up?
I think Devin should be able to handle this pretty easy. And I think Devin could get a stoppage. I think he could be controlled and get like a mid 7th, 8th round stoppage. or it could easily go to a decision for Devin. But I don't see Ryan getting a knockout, and I don't see Ryan boxing him for 12 rounds.
Yeah, I was on the technical side. I was looking at, and the only thing that I seen that can create a problem is Devin. He places you a lot with his jab hand, so he can throw a right hand. And he doesn't. Whenever he's doing that, he's really setting up a hard right hand, so he don't really come back with the hook. In exchange, I've seen Ryan Garcia stop people in exchange. So that's probably the only problem I see.
Just a quick right hand?
Yeah. Just getting hit with a quick shot. Because other than that, I seen Ryan, he generally comes straight forward and just pressure you with the power. I haven't really seen that.
Yeah,
the head movement.
He leaned back, and then he flicked a jab. And then he'll use his legs to, if you move forward on him, use his legs to move back, and then smack you, and then smack you. But he kind of walks down, but he doesn't really press.
Okay, it's just a slower pace.
A little bit more of a counter puncher.
There you go.
Yeah, trying to get you to come in, do something so that he can try to catch you. And he's usually looking to put one big shot. It's not combinations.
I seen him stop a couple fighters with body shots. Single, just left hooks to the body, no setting up, nothing.
Just leaping in.
Just leaping in with remind me of Prince and I Seen My Man.
Yeah.
Just stepping forward with a body shot. I said, oh, that's terrible. When you got a guy that can hit you, and this was not like a 12th round. This was somewhere in the 6th round. So that's power.
Yeah.
Now, 9th, 10th round, that can have something to do with conditioning or just fatigue in a fight. But when you stepping forward with a left hook to the body and the 5th round,
he's just like classic puncher, but who has flaws. And like, how would you handle somebody like that? You face tons of these.
Pretty much the same way Devin fights.
You have to
stay on my movement, but generally I would do that maybe 3-4 rounds, and then I'm trying to walk you down and get with you. I was the fighter that stayed away. I was more, I'm coming to get with you.
If you could discourage them, if you could really start out boxing them for 3 or 4 rounds, that's a good time to then try to hop on it.
Yeah.
Because then they're getting discouraged and try to get some of that energy from them.
And it also depends on the fighter as far as, does he start fast or if he's a slow starter. If you got a fighter that he starts fast, at that point I'm not even trying to stay away. I'm walking forward because he wants to start fast. I want to let him start fast. And ultimately, when he sees that's not doing nothing, it's the beginning of a breakdown.
Because they'll be whiffing, blocking, they'll be hitting block shots.
Yeah, exactly. Blocking, making a miss, slipping. Generally, when you got a guy that's used to jumping out early and start, if he is not hitting the target, he'll slow down, and it's usually from fatigue. Or if you have a fighter that can deal with it and actually start walking forward and meeting them without getting damaged, that starts to break down. So you can actually make a fighter tire themselves out quicker than they naturally would. It all goes on with the fighter that you're fighting. You generally want to be able to adjust to what's going on. But a fighter like Ryan, I would immediately start walking him down. Because he's looking to throw a hard shot. So I've never been the one to run away from the hard shot. I try to take it away from you by controlling it. And I'm walking to it because I'm focusing on that right hand. And yeah, I never tried, because if you start trying to move away from a fighter that's used to walking people down, you're falling into their game plan. It will just be a matter of time. Most of the time Floyd was good at maintaining a pace by stiff jabbing. When he had guys that was walking him down that was used to coming forward and pressure, they say bust pipes. He would never let you pressure him more than he wanted to. Move back just enough, but if he felt like you was getting greedy, he'd step in with a hard jab to the body. He did that to Diego a couple times. Stopped him right in his tracks.
He had that all the way through his career. It's one of the best punches. They got all kinds of videos just showing that jab to the body.
Yes. And that's how he was able to control dealing with. That's something that you would use with Ryan Garcia. He came up fighting a lot of pressure fighters because he was at a smaller weight class. And you used to dealing with a lot of Mexican fighters. They always coming forward. and he just kept them at bay with the jab. And that's what I would be. Now, Devin, he's a different kind of fighter. He likes to move on his feet, and he's just generally combination, moving, stopping, combination, moving, stopping.
Yep.
So I want to know how Ryan responds to that and see if he can bring out another aspect of Devin's
cool.
game.
I'd love it.
I generally see nobody's able to get past the jab and the speed of the right hand, and he's usually pretty much the same thing over and over, and it clearly works because we can talk about what we see, but nobody's went in there and actually proven it. But I want to see how Ryan responds to that. Now, if he stays on the outside, yeah, I see him getting stopped around the 8th, 9th round. If he can pressure him to the point where he stopped believing in his right hand, Devin that is, then we gonna have to see what comes out. That's when you gonna see. That's when it stop being fun.
It gets real.
Yeah, that's when it get real.
Final prediction on that?
6-round stoppage to the body.
Okay.
What I know about a lot of body punches, they're not used to getting hit to the body back.
If he goes down from another body punch, that'll be tough for his career.
You say you be through? You done?
Don't you think that'd be tough? He'd probably have some. That'd take a hit to his income, I think.
It would, and it'll take. He won't be a bully anymore. That'll be
Ryan?
a target. Yes, that'll be a target that be looked to be exposed.
Yeah, that'd be his way out.
Yes. So that's my final prediction. I say about a 6-round stoppage body shot.
All right.
And the next I want to see after that, Devin and Tank.
Yes,
but on our way out,
good.
Young fighters, fight at your natural weight. I know sometimes you may feel like fighters coming in with an advantage, but trust me, fighting where you're comfortable, where your body's comfortable, not where you're mental, where your body's comfortable, you'll always get the best outcome for just later on in life outside of boxing. You got a life outside of boxing. You don't want to attack. We already in a hurt game. Boxing, your brain is not meant to be hit on. So you don't want to be taxing your brain and your body at the same time. That's just, I can tell you from experience. I'm telling you from experience. Treat your body well in boxing and it'll treat you well later on.
Some good words of advice. All right. Thank you for listening. We're going to bring it to a close here and see about what should we look at for our next episode, huh? What do you think?
Amateurs.
Talk
I want
amateurs?
to get back on the scene with the new amateurs coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see what this next Olympic team do.
Okay.
So we can, matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll do a little research so that way I'll be more informed on the new amateurs coming up when we have this next episode. But I was thinking more, if my son boxed, I wouldn't even look for him to turn pro.
Yeah.
I would just box him. Listen, box amateurs, make sure you get a decent job where you're not boxing for the money.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, no, because I have a friend. He's been training, and he's my age. Never turned pro, but been training his whole life. And he said, I'm finna fight in the Masters. I said, that's great.
That's awesome.
That's great. Definitely. Matter of fact, we can talk about that on the next episode.
What is the Masters? What's the age group on that?
I think the Masters it goes all the way up to, I think, 54.
Really?
Yes.
That's
54. Cool. They have them I've seen a guy that was actually in his 40s he went to the doctor and they always gave him an excuse and permission to fight to where they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
And he would enter the local Golden Glove tournament every year. And it's funny because the first time a guy threw a punch at him, they'd immediately stop the fight. They couldn't stop him from getting in a tournament. But literally, if they blew bad air at him, they'd stop the fight.
But was he any good, or was he kind of like he couldn't defend himself, or what?
He had good movement. He hit the mitts well, but the fight was over within 10 seconds every tournament.
Because every time he got hit, they just said,
no, you didn't have to hit him. Just throw a punch. They were generally looking to stop the fight before he ever got hit.
So they were entertaining him by allowing him.
No, they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
He was getting approved by the commission
So the referees basically would take it upon themselves
to
to basically stop the fight.
Yes, it was like understood. Soon as the fight started, the first time they threw a jab at him, stop the fight.
Is that because they didn't trust that he was able to take a punch?
It wasn't trusted. They just felt like they didn't trust him being in there. They didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
And that's basically they did it. But he was also able to say, "Hey, I fought in the districts. My name is right there." So I was even at 54, I was fighting in the districts.
Yeah.
Or at 45, I was fighting in the districts.
Yeah.
So they couldn't take it away from his participation, but they definitely took control of the action in the ring. But at the national ringside, I think the Adidas, they're coming up. They still allow their masters to compete. For fighters that never turn pro, it's no different than the exhibitions. That's exactly what the masters is, but you will be a national champion.
I think that's cool.
And yeah, my son, I don't want him fighting for money. I have something that you want to depend on, that you can depend on for your finances, and just do it for the fun if you want to. But I would never encourage anybody to fight for the money.
Yeah.
That's why I'm more into maybe fighting amateurs.
I think USA Boxing could probably market a little more, just like how boxing could be a positive impact, I think, on a lot of young people. And they don't necessarily have to make careers out of it, but it could be something that gives to them as opposed from taking away from them. Like, you could practice the sport safely in a safe manner that minimizes the serious head trauma at a younger age. And I think just the discipline and the type of competition that it presents, it gives kids a good outlet and a good kind of growing up experience.
Yeah. Experience, travel, meeting people, all those things with amateur boxing. But I definitely, if a fighter want to fight pro, that's great. But fighting for money in the pro, we all fight for money, but taking fights that you wouldn't naturally take or things like that, you ultimately putting yourself in a bad situation. So you don't want to be depending on boxing to make money.
Yeah.
You don't want to be dependent. So I think in amateurs, I won't really have to worry about them depending. But look at what the amateurs, I've met people from Dayton, Ohio that I would never meet that actually comes down and spend time. I have friends from Nebraska. He comes down often. I've traveled pretty much from coast to coast.
Yeah.
Actually coast to coast. Virginia Beach, Kansas City.
Yeah.
Michigan, Chicago, everywhere. So amateur boxing is good and it's controlled and there's no pressure. There's no pressure. It's a good way to experience something, and like you said, it's giving back rather than taking away. You have it gives you opportunities just to grow.
Yeah.
Grow as a person. So we definitely should talk about that. And I think that positive between the pros and cons in the conversation with the amateurs will open up more parents to be willing to allow their children to try boxing. Mostly women. Let's keep it one. Women are worried about this, and I understand it. When you look back at boxers, you can see the problems that go along with it. Again, that comes with the territory. CTE, a lot of physical combat sports, the athletes deal with CTE. That's a part that needs to be talked about. A lot of things, so that way we have more support. A lot of people really don't like to talk about it or deal with it because it's a negative. It brings a negative light on things that they like, and nobody wants you to tear them down on what Yeah,
I think that's a good topic for next time.
Absolutely.
We'll probably go over some of the amateur team and have some thoughts on amateur boxing. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time to West Coast Boxing Talk with your host Tim Crowley and
Coach Sai.
There we go.
We're out of here.
Hope you have a great day.